these people with cystic fibrosis, their life is in danger, as indeed is my life. But I mean...
Okay, well, let's find out. Stay where you are, because I'm going to bring on Rebecca De Havalland, who was Ireland's first transgender. Rebecca, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thanks for coming on, and nice to speak to you again. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Look, this is it's a controversial subject today that the state are paying for these sex change operations. This didn't happen to you. You paid for your own.
I paid for my own, but I'm still a bit furious listening to some of the comments. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is a life-changing operation, and I mean, I was absolutely suicidal. If I didn't have my operation, I wouldn't be alive today.
And are many others in the same position?
Very much so, very much so. And we don't choose to be born like this. If somebody's born with 6 fingers, or if they're born with any other visible disabilities, you know, then they are classed as disabled. We are classed in a way as disabled as well, under the disabled bracket. And at the end of the day, if you see somebody and you can do something for, if they have, we're not even comparing it with that, but it still is a life-threatening condition.
Okay, but this has changed your life, right? And you operate in a different way you did before. When you were Ross Talon, okay?
Yes.
Were you mentally ill?
Yes. Yes. Because I was living a lie, and I was living in a wrong body. Do you know what I mean? Completely. And society didn't accept it, like society don't accept a lot of disabilities anyway. But people, because it's gender reassignment, it's, you know, like, but once you put the name sex change in it, it goes in under the sex industry. It's nothing to do with that. You know, I mean, I was a very, very young child, knew I was born in the wrong body. You know, there was nothing I could do. I tried everything that you can think of on this planet to change that.
Okay, and just Rebecca, the you know, a number of texts are coming in, and they're saying, is this not blurring the lines between confusion over gender and homosexuality or whatever?
That's crap. Okay. That's sorry.
I'm only giving out what other people are saying. You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying it to you. I'm just a little bit irate because people are actually. Well, obviously they don't. I mean, can they not get educated on these things? Do you know what I mean? You know, I mean, if I was a gay man, then I'd have stayed that way. You know, I didn't go through all of this, you know, for attention seeking or for any other reason. Only for that I am now complete. I am the person I should have always been.
Right, and you firmly believe, and it appears to be confirmed by medical opinion, that this does happen, that people are, you know, in hormonal DNA, all of the structures that make us what we are, men or women, are, you know, the world gets it wrong sometimes, the creator gets it wrong sometimes. Absolutely,
absolutely. And also as well, you know, I mean, like, people kind of say, like, it's not that easy. I had to go and see, like, I mean, I had to go to the UK for a start to have it done because I was run out of this town because of it. And then even when I was in the UK, I had to see 3 different independent psychiatrists and psychologists and everything before they determined what I was. I already knew, but I had to go through it because society dictated that for me. So they determined that I was born in the wrong body. Hallelujah. You know, and then they said to me, yes, I could get it done on the National Health, but I'd have to wait 5 to 6 years. So, you know, like, there was a waiting list as well for me, but I couldn't wait that long, because if I'd waited that long, I'd be dead now.
And in terms of the money that's bandied around, 30 grand, 60 grand, is that the sort of bread you're talking about, is it?
I suppose it's about 30 grand. I don't know. Mine was 6,995 sterling exactly, and that was 23 years ago.
Right.
I saved that money, and I worked hard, and I had to work in demeaning jobs that I was never brought up to work in to get that money together, to pay for it, and to be proud to have paid for myself. But some people aren't that lucky. Do you know what I mean? Some people really don't have the money. So, you know, like, I mean, if everybody can be helped, then why not? There's a waiting list. It's not like as if somebody's going to jump ahead of somebody who needs, you know, like a heart transplant or something. You know, it's not that case.
Yeah, I think that people are getting riled up about. That's the bit people are getting riled up about. I don't think any of the people who've been on to us today, and I mean, for the benefit of yourself and for, you know, to give you some sort of sense of security, people aren't on complaining about you or people who've gone through a transgender experience or anything like that and saying, you know, you're all a bunch of freaks or any of that, right? Yeah. I just think people are kind of very conscious of the cash these days.
Yeah, and I think it is that as well, you know, and I can understand, and I honestly do think, you know, I mean, a lot, like, there are so many life-changing operations, I'm sure, on the waiting list. And I would still be a very strong believer that the most important go first. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's not like, I think some people are really under this impression, I want to have a gender reassignment, or under what people call it, a sex change operation. No, you have to live a certain amount of years as a female. You have to prove you do that. You have to prove an awful lot before they will, like, people that don't even know you or your family or anything. You have to, that they decide, and you don't know who you're dealing with, but these people are human beings and they might have prejudice against you, you don't know, but you're dealing with people that are making a life-changing decision for you.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Okay, I want to bring on Marion from Malahide. Hello, Marion.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon,
How are
David.
you doing? Thanks for coming on. You're going to stay with me there, if you would, Rebecca, just for a moment.
No problem.
Marion, yes, your view on this?
Yes, my view would be like a lot of, some of the other callers, that there would be more important things and more, we'll say more important medical issues that should be attended to first before a sex change operation. But having listened to, I can understand, I've nothing against transgender people or any people that are different to me, but I just think that there might be more important life-saving surgery required, like that lady with the 3-year-old child, or somebody with cystic fibrosis.
Actually, that person you were talking about is on as well. Jackie, come back. How are you doing?
Hi, David. I won't keep you long.
With a 3-year-old child.
Go on ahead, Jackie, yeah.
David, I just wanted to say to Rebecca, I have the highest respect for her, and I take everything she has. I do, Rebecca, but with my hand on my heart, I have the highest respect and admiration for you.
Because you were getting a bit steamed up a few minutes ago.
I was, but the reason was, David, because she did pay for it herself, and she didn't take the funds from the sick children or sick cancer patients or anyone else. So I would just like to say, Rebecca, I know I got riled up, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you or anyone belonging to your
insult me.
Your position. But David, like the way I spoke about the operations, but it's only because you paid for it yourself and you didn't take it from vital funds that children need.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And I can say this to you: I would, if I thought, like transgender people, there are some people, and I also think as well, like, that do need it done, but like, I needed finance. But also, in saying that, I had such belief in myself. You know what I mean? That I was in the wrong body, and I didn't want to wait 5 years. I didn't even want the government to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? But if it meant that society, that like doctors and people like that and psychiatrists were saying to me, yes, okay, you are, but definitely born in the wrong body. Even for my family, that was kind of like closure for them too, because then they realised that I'm not trying to do something that's against my will or against, and it really did stand to me. But there are people out there, and I do believe, if I was literally waiting for my operation now, and even though I was suicidal, and I believe you me, I was suicidal, but if I thought that there was somebody that a child or anything that needed her, I would stand aside and let them go ahead. Definitely.
All right, okay, thank you, Jackie, for coming on, and nice of you to come on, and Biggie is to come on, actually. Yes, very good, well done. Rebecca, how are you feeling these days?
I feel great.
Doing your normal thing. Are you still in Granard, are you?
I'm still in Granard, and I've just done a big fashion show in the Longford Arms Hotel. 500 people. I raised my cash for the Alzheimer's Society, which my mum is. She's got Alzheimer's. So I'm out raising money for charities too that need money.
And do you have to go back for any further operations or anything like that?
No, thank God, no. It's an irreversible operation, and when it's done, that's why these people they have to be sure that it's done, because you cannot change it back.
Yeah, okay. 1854 10 494 is our phone line. 53544 is the text, and Niamh is with us. Hello, Niamh.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing? Welcome to Classic Hits 4FM. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just basically want to say we're all born into this world. We don't have any choices when we're babies, but we make choices later on in life. I chose to have 3 children and put on weight, and I'm not overweight. I'm 9 stone, but when I look in that mirror, I am not happy with what I see.
But 9 stone isn't big.
Sorry?
9 stone isn't big.
No, it's not, but when you've baby flubbers sticking out, I said, everywhere, and you're not happy with yourself, I'd love to get liposuction and a boob job. But the government ain't going to pay for that for me just because I'm not happy when I look in the mirror.
Yeah, but you're unhappy. In the case of Rebecca, Rebecca as Ross was actually diagnosed as clinically mentally ill.
I understand that, but that's just because people haven't been to the doctor with their unhappiness about their overweight. A doctor will tell you anything to shut you up. So basically, if I go in and tell a doctor that I'm not happy with my weight, they'll put me on depression tablets to make me happy. Oh, yeah.
Put you on a diet, probably.
I have tried every diet. Like I said, I'm not overweight and fat, but I'm not happy with what I look.
It's not about diets. I mean, I could be overweight or underweight, but it's not life-threatening. I was born in a wrong body like many others. It's a gender thing, not a diet.
No, I don't believe any of that. You choose to grow up the way you are.
Do you really?
Yes.
Well, then you know very little about life, my darling.
Yeah,
I have to say. You know very little about life, and you've led a very sheltered life. And if all that you have to worry about is that you've had a couple of kids and you've put on a few pounds, go to Weight Watchers. But there's nothing out there that will change my gender by going to Weight Watchers or anybody else's. Get real. I'm not trying to be nasty here.
I don't understand why you're even
I'm just being honest.
You paid for it. People are ringing in. We're being asked, should the government pay for it?
Well, to be fair, Niamh, we asked Rebecca on to clarify for us exactly what all this is about. And the fact that she paid for it is a separate issue altogether. She said, and we all understand this, and a lot of people are complaining about it, understandably, that a lot of operations in this case are paid for by the state, and there has to be a prioritisation of state resources.
And I have to be honest with you, I actually know that there was a man on there that said he didn't know, he wasn't convinced that the government pay for stuff. The government do pay for things. I have somebody in my family who put on weight because of medication that they were put on because they were sick, and they got a job done, and the government paid for it because they were seen to be.
What job did he have done?
It was a man boob job.
A man boob job.
Here. You know
because
what I mean?
He was put on steroids, so the government paid for it.
Why did you just go and get
the government to pay for a man boob job? But it's not okay for the government to pay for gender.
Agree with you.
I would have got him a running machine, quite frankly.
But what I'm saying is, if you go to a doctor and tell them that you're depressed, they'll agree with you. So I don't understand. I'm sorry, but I just.
Well, I think though the level of psychiatric analysis that Rebecca would have had to go through is quite substantial, isn't it?
Huge.
I know, but are we discussing medical condition here, or are we discussing the government paying for stuff?
Are we discussing men's
one or
boob
the
jobs?
other, like, It's
not my fault that some man has got man boob problems.
Exactly,
Go and
it's
work
not
out.
my fault that you want to be a woman or if you want to be a man. Get over it.
Well, to be fair,
is it my fault? Is it? Is
she's
it my
more
fault
than she's more than got over.
That you're depressed about
to be fair,
Willie or not.
To be fair, she's more than got over it. All right, she's more than got over it. All right, let's bring on Martin. Hello, Martin. How you doing?
Hi there, David. Hi.
Good, Rebecca. Good. Rebecca's here as well. Actually, Niamh's here, so I might as well keep her on.
I agree with Rebecca. It's an educational problem. I mean, I sort of had my eyes opened when I read a few textbooks when I was doing an exam. That people do get born into situations like Rebecca had. I mean, it can be even severe, like a disability where you've got both sets of genitalia, and the doctors have to work out which side of the situation they're going to throw you on.
Does that happen?
Hermaphrodite, it's called.
It does happen,
hermaphrodite, but it's very rare, isn't it?
It's rare, but we don't hear about these things. I mean, we just think that we're going to come out of the womb as either A or B. But there is a C, and we don't hear often about it. And the thing is that it is an educational problem in the sense that people don't really think that it's a medical problem, so therefore they go and see a psychiatrist or a counsellor and go and talk out the problem. But again, in psychiatry, there's two types of things going on there. There's one that's the medical chemistry point of view that makes you either a schizophrenic or whatever, which is a chemical problem in the body, which is not producing the right chemicals, so therefore you take on a mental disorder, or you've got a situation that's event-based, which might be a depression and because of lack of finance. So there's two sides to this mental disorder or mental health issue, and when you're dealing with sort of transgenders, you're dealing with a situation that hits both sides. You hit on the chemical point of view, and how Mother Nature decided what that chemistry is going to be. And then the person then has to live with the actual mental health issue.
Yeah, but I think what is interesting here and what's coming out of this, and certainly in talking to Rebecca, the mental health issue is effectively dealt with the moment this takes place. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
To a huge degree, anyway.
A huge degree, and as well, I know, like, we're on the subject about the government paying for operations for everybody. Do you know what I mean? If they spent less money on themselves, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There'd be enough money for everyone to have their operations. Do you know what I mean? We're all human beings at the end of the day. We all walk this earth, and surely we deserve to be happy, no matter whether it's man boob jobs, no matter what. Do you know what I mean? It should be catered for.
Yeah, and everybody pays the taxes. So
yeah, exactly. Thank you.
they go into the health system and ask the help of the doctors and what have you to help them with their particular problem.
All right, let's bring on Maureen. Hello, Maureen.
Good afternoon,
Good
David.
afternoon, and welcome to Classic Hits 4FM. Yeah, go ahead.
And hello, Rebecca. How are you doing? It's Maureen O'Halloran.
Oh, Maureen, how are you, Pat? Good to hear you.
Not doing too bad. Loveliest woman I've ever met in my life.
Thank you, Maureen.
Well, listen, you all talk amongst yourselves. I'll go off and have a cup of tea.
No problem. I have had the pleasure of meeting Rebecca and fully understand where she's come from. What people are missing the point on, and I understand where the lady is talking about the Botox and that. Every single person in this world has their own medical problem attributed to themselves. But what people are missing the point is that a medical illness is also in the mental health category. And so many people are being frowned upon and looked upon for mental illness that they're being passed over for what is bothering them. Now, there are people out there that are like Rebecca, and everybody has something, as they say. That is a serious, serious thing to have, because it is, let's say, the mutation of cells or whatever it is, but they are definitely that way. And my problem with hearing everything that's going on, with people saying, well, let them do this and let them do that, my problem with that is if they're putting them on the back burner, so look, it's okay, you go and take your life because you're not as important as somebody else that needs Botox, or they need, no, I'm not taking a shot at that woman, or they need boob jobs or weight problems. Every single person's problem is a serious problem to them. And when you're talking about mental illness, then you have crossed over into a very serious area of health that has been ignored in this country. And it has to be accepted. And another thing I do hear all the time, and you know, David, I kind of work as a volunteer in this area, is that they're transsexuals confused. They are not. It's nothing to do with sex whatsoever. They don't want to go around and be vendors and this, that and the other and dress in women's clothes and get turned on by
No, it's not a lady boy situation.
No,
that was somebody
not.
was saying in the text just a few minutes ago.
No, it is not. I have spoken to Rebecca and other ladies like herself, and I can tell you they're more female than I am. And I actually sound like a man half the time. So, like, if anybody's listening to me,
you, Maureen.
she's probably a man. They're saying, trust me, I was born a woman, and very much. I think I am a man, actually, and I should have something between the legs to represent that. But at the end of the day...
That's another program.
It is another program. At the end of the day, it is not something they opt for. And that lady that did phone in, I wish she would try and understand that, let's say her daughter didn't need Botox. Let's say her daughter was a child that felt that she was a man, was always just wanting to do man's things.
Well, be honest with you, Maureen. No, Jackie got the point. I think that Jackie was riled up, as were a number of people, about the. I mean, we only have to read the headline. The headline isn't about transgender issues at all. It's about the state paying for 14 sex change operations.
Right.
And we had clarified the issue with Rebecca. You know, she paid for her own.
Right.
This is about state resources.
Okay.
Should this be what we should be doing?
Okay, well, there are people out there that cannot afford it, and that is another point, David, right? If they cannot afford it, right, and they are attempting to take their life continuously, is the government supposed to step back, knowing what the problem is and how it can be solved? Because that's not important.
No, that's a huge issue. All mental health issues in this country need to be treated equally and treated effectively, and this is one of them. And that's,
well, I agree. It should be paid for.
But just here we are for a second, because Tina's there. Hello, Tina.
Hi, how are
you doing? Welcome to Classic Hits 4FM. Go ahead.
Hi, I just kind of suspect there for Maureen and Rebecca there, listening to them talking, but I just believe that the money should be put into more, like more serious things.
It is serious. Who says it isn't serious?
It is serious, but my children were born prematurely, and there's an injection that premature babies can have through the winter months of each year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's called the Synagis injection.
Yeah.
And it stops them getting really bad chest infections and getting really sick. And if you can't afford that €120 a month for that injection...
And if you don't have it, you don't get it. Is that right?
No, that's it.
Right,
your child doesn't get it. So I think... I know it's serious, and I know these people, like, feel suicidal and all and whatever else. I understand all that, but there is more serious issues that should be dealt with by the government first.
Nobody said that there wasn't. I said the most detrimental operations should be dealt with first, and then everything is relative after that. Do you know what I mean?
Can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah.
Can I just jump in for one more second? That lady has said more serious problems. This is a life or death situation for people that find themselves in a mental illness situation, as these people that have gone for the surgery.
Yeah, listen, Maureen, I understand that. I just think that what you have, and I mean, I spoke to Rebecca there and asked the question, you know, where would you be right now if you hadn't done this? And she said, I'd be dead probably, because I tried to take my life. Right. Now, but people don't get that bit. And
I don't mean more serious than transgender. I mean more serious than the next. It doesn't necessarily mean transgender. Is if somebody needs a liver transplant or a heart transplant, it depends on the severity and the reason behind it. Not the transgender versus heart or versus liver or versus whatever else. I don't like to see any child or anybody suffer in this world. And I think the one suffering the most, in whatever it be, you keep tuning in on the gender thing. I'm talking about any of them, because they're all life-threatening operations.
I know. You can't have a top 10 of what's life-threatening operation. Adrian, you were on earlier. Come on back.
Hiya, yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on, I put off the telly. I actually have to go to a hospital appointment, but I'm that riled up about the lady that got on and a couple of comments that were made.
Which one?
The lady that got on effing about,
Oh, yes, yeah. Okay, that was Jackie, yeah.
Yeah, I had a child with very serious illness as well, suspected leukemia, when he was only 3. And I had to go up the north, because they were messing around with me that much to get him actually confirmed that he hadn't. I knew he hadn't, but nobody was listening to the mother. Mm-hmm. But what I want to know is, who has the right to say that one person's life, no matter what age they are, is more important than the other person's life? It is a hectic thing what they're going through. That woman just showed her lack of education to say that, get out and get a job and pay for it. Has she reading the papers? There are no jobs.
No job.
Get a loan, she said. On the news just before you came on, they are not giving out loans. Obviously, this woman is not picking up a newspaper and reading it. She's probably reading the back of the Sun, looking for something herself. Get a grip, woman. I said in my earlier call that Ireland has not come on, that they're shunned, they're passed over. Anybody with any query, if you hump on your back in this country, you're a weirdo. And she is a classic case of that mentality that goes on in this country. Shame on her. If her child ends up getting her leg amputated, and I apologise for the remark, but she started it.
All right, okay, Adrian, thank you very much for coming on. Tina,
Can I
also
just
to
say
you.
Something?
Yes, just before you go, Rebecca, very quickly. Yeah.
I just want to say, like anyone listening or talking on this, I mean, I'm somebody's child. You could end up with a child like this. What would you do? If your child ended up like this and suicidal and needed a life-changing operation? Because I'm somebody's child and I was somebody's child. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I certainly do. Yeah. Okay. Rebecca De Havalland, thank you very much for coming on. Nice to speak to you as always. Bye-bye.
More from Harvey in minutes.
This is the David Harvey Show. Classic Hits 4FM.
Classic Hits 4FM summer hotspots with highhohotels.com. More choices, lowest prices guaranteed.
New figures from the HSE show 14 people were approved to travel abroad for gender reassignment surgery over a 5-year period. The surgery is not available here. Transgender surgery can cost between 30 and 60,000 euro. Many people are unhappy that the HSE are funding such operations. Rebecca De Havalland is Ireland's first transgender candidate. She spoke to David Harvey on Classic Hits 4FM and explained that if she had not had the surgery, which she paid for herself, she would not be alive today.
Can they not get educated on these things? Do you know what I mean? You know, I mean, if I was a gay man, then I'd have stayed that way. You know, I didn't go through all of this, you know, for attention seeking or for any other reason, only for that I am now complete. I am the person I should have always been.
Classic Hits 4FM.